Yo, we're back.
The beats are back.
The beats are back?
The beats are back.
The beats be back. The beats be kicking. I like this like I like fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like chicken. It's got me finger licking.
Good, but would you say that's the best kind of finger licking chicken?
That's all I could say if I could.
We're not. Are we still going with this?
I don't know. I like to rap.
Yeah. So this is the chicken sandwich episode of the Until Next Week podcast. Not really,
I like chicken.
but we might talk about it at some point. Will we?
Lindsay Reed looks like a chicken.
She's on vacation right now.
She's somewhere.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Like a chicken sandwich.
Okay. And on that note, this is episode 25 of the Until Next Week podcast.
I think I'm going to name my oldest son Ray Ray.
Dan, what goes on in your head?
Well, we were sitting here. I don't know how I started thinking about it, but I was thinking of the movie A Haunted House.
Yeah.
And his cousin Ray Ray. So
It sounds like you're about to tear up. Like his cousin Ray Ray.
it's so funny. This guy, he has a ghost in his house.
Mm-hmm.
And then he calls his cousin Ray Ray,
Yeah,
who's like
yeah.
in a gang or
Yeah.
something, and he brings his guys over, and he pulls out a gun, and he's like, "Show yourself!"
Mhm.
And he's like, "You can't see it, Ray." And he goes, "Why not?" He goes, "'Cause he's a ghost." He goes, "Like a ghost? He goes, "Yes, Ray, like a ghost." And then he walks back into the other room. He goes, "Where your furniture go, cuz?" And then it falls from the ceiling. And
What is this movie again?
"You try to get me killed, cuz." And then he runs out.
What is this movie again?
It's called A Haunted House. It's like a spoof.
Yeah. And it's Ray Ray, and that's what you want to name your kid?
Yeah, he's got a cousin, Ray Ray. And Ray Ray's hilarious because
So
he thinks he's going to come over and shoot the ghost.
gosh, I think there's a few steps that need to be taken before you name your kid Ray Ray.
Why?
Are you dating anybody right now?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Never have been.
Well, that I'm glad to hear that. I'm really grateful you are not. But getting back to having a kid named Ray Ray. I think you need to get a baby first.
A baby.
Yeah, like a bay.
A baby mama? Got a bunch of prima donna
I'm
baby
trying
mama
to
drama.
transition and say that you need to start dating someone first.
Why?
There's no winning with you.
I could raise a child.
Okay, I take it back.
I'm a single mom who works 2 jobs. Podcasting is the second job.
This was not on our outline, believe it or not. But we're just going with it anyway. But Dane, should you get an online dating app?
That's not an outline either.
That we're bringing it up. We're going right now. We're just going for
I'm getting Grindr, and that's final.
How? I thought you already had that.
I mean, yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I have a fake name, and my fake name on there is Samuel Sin.
That
It's just
explains a
pictures
lot.
of you.
Is that why last week that person came out my window and recorded me, took
Yes.
pictures?
Yes and
because they saw that the name for Grindr and they're trying to find me.
You want to know what I'm going to do to our number 2 sponsor?
What are you going to do to Jake Trust and Art?
I'm going to put
Oops. Yeah.
I'm going to put his number on Craigslist.
Okay.
And say free chickens if you call this number.
I've heard of people do that before.
Yeah.
And literally people get bombarded with so many messages.
There was a lady, her ex-boyfriend put her phone number on Craigslist and said, if you call and leave your best Chewbacca impersonation, you'll win $10,000. She had to get a new number.
That's amazing. That's honestly so good.
She says she got thousands of voicemails of just people going,
Were you one of the people who called in? Because that was a good impersonation.
I wish. I don't know. I've never seen Chewbacca say anything.
That is amazing. Oh, speaking of Chewbacca, you remember that Chewbacca lady who went viral a few years ago?
No.
There's a lady who's just like a stereotypical mom, and she found one of the Chewbacca mask at the store, and if you put it on, it just makes the Chewbacca noise. And she did that and made a viral video, and she literally became a comedian because of that video, because she was laughing so much.
So?
And now since then she's written multiple books.
Why?
Or at least one. Why?
What has she done?
People thought it was funny when she went viral. So it's basically like when you have a really good tweet and you're like, well, because this does really well, hey, check out my other fill in the blank. Check out this stuff.
No.
Okay.
I did really well on Yik Yak.
What's your kick?
I'm glad you asked.
Mm-hmm.
It was this other social media app where in your vicinity of 10 miles or whatever,
Mm-hmm,
you could make a statement and people would vote up or vote down on your comment.
Okay.
And if you had a lot of votes, it would raise towards the top and people would see it more.
Mm-hmm.
If you got like 5 down votes, it would be deleted.
Mm-hmm.
So people would get on there and it's anonymous. So you get on there and just say absolutely absurd things.
Yeah, yeah.
It was hilarious. I did it in college.
What was the most absurd thing you said on there?
I have no idea. It was crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
You know me.
Yeah. I
I've
do
never-
know you.
Yeah,
I know you very well.
Never been fired for saying something absurd.
I know you better than most people.
Well, I mean,
We've,
sure.
We've been very close.
Oh, okay.
So close.
You said I'm a creep though when I was
Yeah.
outside your window.
yeah.
I wasn't
yeah.
outside his window. That wasn't me. That was Tom.
Holland. Yes, Tom Holland is the creep from the last week.
Since he got rejected by Zendaya,
Mm-hmm.
took a downhill turn.
They're still dating.
Are they?
I think so.
I thought they broke up.
No, I'm pretty sure they're still dating.
Look it up.
Why?
Because I'm pretty sure they broke up.
Okay, you keep talking about whatever as I look it up.
All right. So, you know what grinds my gears, people?
Grinder.
No. What grinds my gears is this new Netflix thing saying that we can't be stealing other people's accounts.
Tom and Zendaya are still together.
No, they're not. I won't believe
just
it.
said it. I looked at Hello Magazine, the
Who's
number one
Hello
source
Magazine?
for celebrity news.
If it's not 17 again, then I'm not reading it.
Okay, keep talking.
So Netflix saying that they won't let me steal somebody's account and use it as my own. I only pay for Disney Plus right now, but I have Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
and a partridge in a pear tree. Actually, you know there's a better song than 12 Days of Christmas? It's the 12 Redneck Days of Christmas by Jeff Foxworthy.
You know your redneck win.
12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets. I'm not going to do all 12.
So you're saying you enjoy Christmas music?
I enjoy that song.
Okay. Well, I enjoy a multitude of Christmas songs.
I don't think you do.
I think I do. But you know what grinds my gears? Because we don't need to, I mean, we already know your grinding gears is Netflix and everything
grind
else.
gears.
Yeah. What? People who only listen to Christmas music in December and they act like it's a sin or something wrong if you're listening in November.
I read this wrong.
What do you think I wrote?
I thought you said people who just listen to Christmas music any like day of the year.
No.
Those people are psychotic.
No. I'm saying people who are like, no, you only can play Christmas music from December 1st to December 25th. If you played outside of there, you're crazy.
No, that's wrong.
What's you are?
Yeah, I agree with you. That
Okay, so you agree with me.
it should not be played
Only for the 25 days.
then.
You
It should be played from December 20th until the 25th.
you leave right
That's
now.
it. That's
You
the
leave.
only time that you should be able to play.
This is
Christmas
why you
music.
don't have a baby called Ray Ray.
Listen, Ray
I'm
Ray
telling
agrees
you,
with me.
I think every female probably agrees with me based
No.
on my opinion right now.
Based on your vast knowledge of the female psyche, you think they agree with you?
Yes, I think they do.
No.
And that's why, because you're so much against that, that's why Ray Ray is not your baby.
No, don't talk about Ray Ray like you know him. We're
I
going to
do.
the park later.
It is 10:16. That's kind of creepy.
It's 10:15.
PM.
Yeah,
So you're just
I know.
going, okay, we're going to the park.
Sorry that my joy with my son is not bound by the limits of the sun.
You're
But also, Ray Ray is doing great. He's all state. All state football player. We encourage him to play other less violent sports, but he seemed to take a liking to football.
I hope you know if you don't name your first son Ray Ray now, it's going to be a complete disappointment for all our listeners.
I have a good feeling it's going to get vetoed by the missus, but that's okay because I have a non-negotiable.
Okay. You just got to make sure you sneak that into the end of the marriage contract and you're good to go.
I have several non-negotiables. By that, I mean, number one, there must...
Mountain Dew has to be flowing at all times.
I mean, yes and no. But specifically,
Has to be a female.
on our yes, that's number one. On our wedding day, it has to be, or I demand a Baja Blast fountain.
Okay.
That's number one.
That's all you need.
Number two,
Mm-hmm.
my daughter's name must be Hadley
Okay.
because that's my middle name.
Okay.
And my mom's maiden name is Hadley.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad...
You're giving out a lot of password hints.
I don't have a password with
No, I'm
Hadley.
saying for other people. It's like,
Oh.
hey, what's the middle name of whatever?
Well, steal their accounts. I don't care.
Okay. So what are your other non-negotiables between your Mountain Dew and your Hadley?
I must be 6'5" in her eyes.
It might be a while here.
What do you mean?
You might have to get rid of these
You
non-negotiables.
and I are very similar in height, Samuel.
When we sit down, yes.
No.
Because I have bad posture and I lean forward.
Well, it's because these mics are so short. Here, I got it. There.
Okay, yeah.
I feel better.
Do you have any other non-negotiables, or is that about it?
I'll have 2 more next week for you.
Okay. So until next week, you have to deal with what we've said so far. Yeah. But getting briefly back to the Christmas music, it is some of the most...
back to your absurd opinion.
It is... It brings so much joy to so many people.
You're such a white girl.
I am. I'm a white girl, and I'm white... No.
What?
I don't know where I was going to go with that, and I'm going to stop right here.
No, he's a white girl.
Yeah, a white girl. But, it's just... I feel like I know more words to Christmas songs than any other type of song.
You have a problem.
No, it means it's this classic song that you hear each year, and it brings back several good memories, and it just makes me feel young again, you know?
Next thing...
I'm super old. I'm not as old as our number 2 sponsor because he's well into his 30s.
He's almost 40.
Yeah, 50.
50.
Yeah. No, 60. He said he's 60.
Just confirmed 60. But also, next thing I know that you're going to say is that you're going to say that Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
What?
Or, I mean,
Samuel.
Okay. You can say it is, but
I have a
you're
prepared
wrong.
argument.
It's kind of like when people say Frozen is a Christmas movie, and
It's
I'm
not.
like, no, it's not. It's just set with snow.
They are very similar movies, as in they're both based around terrorism.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
But Die Hard is a Christmas movie for the following reasons. Number 1, they're at a Christmas party. There's Christmas decorations. There are presents.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, when he kills one of the terrorists, he writes "ho ho ho" in blood on his shirt.
How was it spelled?
HOHO.
Okay. What was the
H-O.
last? Okay. Okay, that adds
And
up.
number 3, the terrorists are a metaphor for your in-laws because they're holding your significant other hostage.
Okay, it might be a Christmas.
And then he
music.
saves Christmas.
Okay, it might be a Christmas.
You know
movie
who
then.
saved Thanksgiving this year?
Not the Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys.
No, they always lose
Every year
They're so
on
bad.
Thanksgiving.
That's when they look like a Super Bowl team.
That's about the time they're peaking, yes.
Yeah, and
But
then they have to play 3 months.
I don't want to talk about when they played the Washington Commies this past year.
Mm-hmm.
But I need them to do better. I need the Cowboys to do better. This is our year. It's going to happen. I have a great feeling about
Hood'em
it.
boys.
Weedham boys.
Yep. They won't do well.
They will.
Christmas music is amazing all times. It grinds my gears when people do not agree with that because I'm always right and they're wrong.
No, you're
Yeah.
wrong because Christmas music sucks. There's only a few acceptable Christmas movie or Christmas music songs. You know
Okay.
what they are?
Sure.
It's All Coming Back to Me Now by Celine Dion,
Okay.
which is also not necessarily a Christmas song. However,
Your number 1 song is literally not a Christmas song.
yeah, but it reminds
you said.
me. I sang it when I had COVID, and I wanted it all to come back to me now.
Okay.
My taste and smell.
Yeah.
And then number 2, Shake Up the Happiness by Train.
That's a very good song.
That one's good. Very underrated.
Drink a Coca-Cola while you listen.
No.
That's like in all the Coca-Cola commercials
Mountain Dew
with
while
like
you
the
listen.
polar bears.
I don't care about the polar bears.
Yeah.
On that show specifically.
Yeah. So number 3, what's it?
Number 3 is going to be the 12 Redneck Days of Christmas.
Which you already discussed.
We already discussed. Fantastic.
You said top 3. I think that's it.
Okay,
so
fine. I have a playlist called
We're good with
Christmas
that. You can let us know who you think is correct because it is me. But if you do agree with Dane, just leave us a 5-star review and tell us why you agree with him because you're wrong either way.
Tell me why you embrace freedom.
That's not on our outline. Our
That's how I
outline
feel.
says top chicken sandwich.
That's how I feel, though. Speaking of freedom, top chicken sandwiches.
Yes.
Okay.
Dane had a hot take, and I said we didn't need to discuss this because it shouldn't be any debate. But because this is a 2-person podcast, I let him say his thoughts this time.
Samuel has not heard this argument.
Yeah, so we're going to let him talk, and he's probably going to be wrong, but let's see.
All right. So, I'm not here to say that Chick-fil-A doesn't have a fantastic chicken sandwich
It's amazing.
because it does have a
It
good...
was blessed by our number 1 sponsor.
It is blessed by Jesus.
Mhm.
It's a God's chicken.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, and the many caveats I'm about to give.
Okay, we'll listen. Okay,
So, it's a good chicken sandwich.
great.
However, Popeyes, when they care about you as a person, when they're not out of every condiment, whenever they're not out of chicken for the day, if it's before 11 a.m. and all of their staff showed up for the day and it's made fresh, it's the best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
I just want to point out, I like how you point out all the caveats, but it is said multiple times, especially in the sports world, the best ability is availability.
It has said that.
And Popeyes itself does not meet that standard. They are the Jacob DeGrama chicken sandwiches.
That's so true.
They can be super elite at times, but they're always out. They're
It's hitting them when
always
it's
out.
there.
It's like, oh, are they going to the Hall of Fame? Well, if they come back and have some good seasons, but they're always injured.
Ugh.
And you know what? Who's not always injured? Chick-fil-A.
I
And you know
agree.
how they're not always injured? They make sure to rest 1 day a week on Sundays.
They do rest.
There's a reason. They got to recuperate. They got to get the chickens all ready. They got to make sure everybody have their daily Bible studies and they're ready to go.
I want to talk about my very real experiences at Popeyes.
Okay.
Number one, one of the first times I ever went there, I got screamed at.
Okay. I mean, I feel
By
like
the manager.
I feel like Popeyes is kind of like Waffle House.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Waffle House is great because you just want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
Because apparently my name there is SOB.
Yeah. I mean, I sob when I go there, and so do you.
Yeah.
But I think that's where Conor McGregor typically goes because, he's a fighter, and that if you do not, I'm pretty sure when you apply to work at Waffle House or Popeyes, they have, it's only physical tests. They don't care how you treat customers, if you can make a sandwich or whatever else. They're like, hey, can you tackle this person? We got to make sure we have some good clips for Twitter.
So I got screamed at Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rolled up one time
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, our card machine is down and we don't have change. I said, so what do you want me to do with that? And they said, you have to pay exactly $11.56 or more. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, I don't have $11.56 with me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They were like, okay. And then I just drove off.
And you know what? The best ability is availability.
They
Chick-fil-A would never. They would make sure, they would run to the bank for you, get the change you need, and then change your tire while they're at it.
True. Chick-fil-A's card thing was down one time when I was there.
You mean their drive-through?
They're the card reader.
Oh, okay, card
It
reader.
was down
Card.
in the
Okay.
drive-through,
Mhm.
and they just said, "Here, take it."
Yeah, it's on us.
I'm like, "That's great." Popeyes just looked back at me like, "What are you still doing here?"
Yeah. Like, get on my face.
Another time, actually, this is majority of the time.
Mhm.
They put all of my sides not in bowls, but in drink cups. They put it in a large drink. I have mac and cheese in a large drink cup.
And you went for a nice swig of sweet tea, and like, no, Bess, that's my mac and cheese again.
Know what was what? I was
Yeah,
like, "Why is
yeah.
my tea hot?" And one time I pulled up, they said they're out of chicken.
What do they serve?
You're a chicken place.
We got biscuits. There we go. That's all we got.
They're out of so many things. One time I went there, and instead of just like having a sign that says the drive-thru's closed, they had a car parked in reverse, like facing me. It's just parked. No one was in it.
I'm telling you right now, they are not. You can't have them as number one when all of those issues.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A is consistent. They have the best sauces of any restaurant by far. It's not close. Nobody competes, and all the food's pre-blessed.
I've had roughly 30 Popeyes chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
I think 3 times.
Oh no.
It's been the best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
So 3. That's such a low percent. They're not consistent.
It's
That's
literally,
1 in 10.
it's literally 10%.
You get a 10% consistency rating. Chick-fil-A, every single time what you're going to get is going to be great.
It's going to be very above average.
Yeah, very, very, very good.
I like it, but whatever
I love it.
Popeyes is doing.
Whatever they're doing, those 1 of every 10 times, it hits different. When they're not hitting you, it hits different.
They're the Jameis Winston of chicken sandwiches.
Oh, snap.
Just
Snap.
restaurants in general.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, he threw for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards today. Oh, that's great. Next week he had 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and then he stole some crab legs. And like, well, that kind of relates to our clientele.
True.
So,
But yeah, that's my chicken rant.
yeah, I feel like it's pretty accurate, except for the part that Chick-fil-A still is better because the best ability is availability. Chick-fil-A is always available when you need it most.
Popeyes mashed potatoes are also really good.
I mean, I agree with you that Popeyes has better mashed potatoes than Chick-fil-A.
They don't have mashed potatoes at Chick-fil-A.
My point stands. There we go. I was trying to find some common ground with you, so that was our common ground.
No.
Our
Our common ground will be found in this draft.
Yeah. I guess we are just going straight into this draft. We've already discussed online dating apps that Dane should get, so
Which
that
ones?
way he can have his Ray.
You're trying to get me
You
to
could
hook
go
up with a
Grinder. You can go Farmers Only.
Ooh, that my stepmom legitimately wants to sign me up for that. I'm like, Tammy,
You will find a woman with some land, Dane.
you don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Yeah, so you can go Farmers Only. There's a movie that they made about Christian Mingle. It's one of the cheesiest movies ever,
See you there.
but I highly recommend it.
What about Coffee Meets Bagel?
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah, that's a dating app, I think.
Oh, I thought it was a movie. Coffee meets bagel?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even... Oof.
Supposedly a Christian app. Why is there such a demand for Christians to meet online?
Because, I don't know. You know, you think they'll just meet in the church, but some people, I guess, just don't talk.
I know. That's what I call my dating app.
Yeah. Just don't talk? That's what you call your dating app, or you call your dating app church?
The church.
Okay, The Church, the dating app by Dane. Sponsored by Jesus.
I want to talk about the villains of all time.
Okay, so we decided we would draft the top animated villains of all time. And, you know, we already asked Siri who would get a pick first.
And Daddy's first.
Yep, Daddy. That's
Don't
Dane.
say that.
If you need
What?
Dane,
Yeah.
call him. Hit him up.
Don't call me.
He can be
after
your
that endorsement.
he can be your Dane. Yeah.
So we were drafting the top animated villains of all time.
We're doing a snake draft. We're going 4-piece. You got to let us know how we do. I think that I will win.
No, because
Okay.
I only put 4 down.
Okay. So go with your first overall pick of this animated villains draft.
Number 1, I'm going with a real hero of mine.
Well, okay, hero for the villain. Who is it?
Scar.
Okay, that was on my list, but I can adapt as needed. Explain.
Scar is the rightful king of Pride Rock. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. He deserved to be on the throne. The only reason, so you play out the movie, the reason people think that he's evil in the beginning is because he has a scar, and that's it. Turns out, not a great guy, because he did kill his brother, and then he blamed it on Simba, and then took over forcibly. But who hasn't done that in this nation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not?
That's what I'm saying. Also, lions don't work like monarchies. That's not how this goes.
He's the king of the jungle.
I don't care. It goes to the strongest lion. So Scar is number 1 because he's not really a villain. He's a hero.
But how could he? So your number 1 villain is a hero.
Yeah, because
How does that make sense?
Well, he's also really funny.
Also, you said it goes to the strongest lion. What happened at the end of that movie?
He starts fighting, and then Simba hits him with an illegal cheap shot.
And he gets killed.
Yeah, because
so
he's out of
not
his prime.
the strongest.
Yeah, because he's out of his prime. He's what's his face? Mufasa's brother.
Yeah.
Making it Simba's
So
uncle.
how can he be the greatest if you just defined him as Mufasa's brother?
Exactly, because Mufasa cheated too.
Okay.
But you know what is a common theme of that
He's
movie?
just nervous that he picked a bad first overall pick.
I'm not nervous.
Yeah.
Scar is the rightful king of Pride Rock. But you also know what
He's
a
dead.
common theme in The Lion King is?
That if you want to grow in your
wrong.
life,
No.
you got to run off with
to run away.
a
toucan.
pig and a hyena.
That's a meerkat.
And then eventually you'll meet your lover from a young age.
Who's your cousin?
And you'll play in the jungle together.
No, that's not what you learn. What you learn is...
you can't say what I learned, what you learn. But
what you learn is...
what do I learn?
That redheaded people always rise to the top.
Scar wasn't redheaded.
I know. But you saw how Mufasa was.
So many holes in your argument.
Mufasa was king, then Simba. The toucan had a reddish stripe in his beak.
Mm-hmm.
And Pumbaa, the funniest character in the film, also red.
Okay.
What I'm saying is redheaded people will one day rule this world.
Yet Scar was not redheaded, and he was your number 1 pick.
Exactly, because he's the rightful king of Pride Rock.
Okay. And on that note, I have to go with my number 1 overall pick. Honestly, you can't beat this one.
Don't take my number 1.
Shan Yu.
Who's that?
From Mulan.
Oh!
The villain. He literally...
I consider putting him on there.
He destroyed whole villages.
Yeah, he did.
He killed... who's the main guy's... Who's the guy? Mulan's kind of boyfriend at
Her
the
hubby?
end. Yeah. His dad. Who was like...
dad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because they went
remember.
to the village like, oh... Shan Yu literally burned down and killed everyone in this village.
We got to go to the Tung Shao Pass.
Yeah, how many people did Scar kill besides Mufasa? I think it was mainly just Mufasa.
He killed an emperor.
Shan Yu
Also
killed
killed an emperor.
hundreds, if not thousands of people, and then he went up to the emperor and he was like, I'm going to kill you. But then he got destroyed by bombs, like rockets, fireworks, because that's the only way they could take him down.
I'm sorry, my number one pick can't operate firearms.
Yeah. And then he literally got hit by an avalanche.
He did.
And he came back. How? That just makes no sense. And it's like way after the fact. So he's freezing and it's like he recuperates. And he's like, okay, we're going. He just sticks his fist out of the snow and just goes on a rampage.
They popped out of the snow.
Huge villain.
Like daisies.
Seriously. Kills so many people. It does not make sense, but he is the number one villain on my list.
Mushu was better.
Mushu wasn't a villain.
Mushu's the one who fired the rocket at the mountain.
He wasn't. We're talking about villains only here.
Mushu almost lost
that could
China.
be the dating app you join. Villains
Mushu?
only.
I am at the beginning of my villain arc.
Yes. So that was my number one overall pick. Number two, I'm going to go with Tai Lung.
Oh,
do you know who that is?
yeah, he's
Yes.
the
From Kung Fu Panda.
yeah, the white.
He's like
tiger.
the white like tiger,
Yeah,
and
white
he
tiger.
again is another crazy villain because they had
Yeah.
him in like the highest security prison
He breaks out with a feather.
in the world, and then he's chained down at the bottom of his pit.
True.
He gets a feather, is able to use that to unlock himself, and they shoot hundreds, if not thousands, of massive bow and arrows like at him. Does not die. He just runs up all these arrows because he's so quick. He gets out and he goes on a rampage again, just like destroying everyone, including like giant armies.
Then he loses to a fat panda.
Yeah, but it was Jack Black. Yeah, Jack Black always wins.
The only thing Jack Black defeated was the School of Rock.
Skadoosh. And some people might say that Jack Black was a villain in that movie because he broke into a school and acted like he was a teacher and then just did not teach the kids education, but instead taught them music.
Taught him how to be in his band.
Yeah, and he could have been my number one villain if that was animated, but it's
Right.
not. So that's why I had to go the Kung Fu Panda route and pick up Tai Lung with my number two overall pick.
I'm proud of
Dane,
you.
who are you going with?
Well, I'm glad you didn't take. So, the Scar was actually my number two, because I took him because
Is that because he was a crap pick?
because I thought you were going to take him.
Yeah, I was at number two.
See? And so my number one pick that I was hoping you wouldn't take is Jafar. I love Jafar.
Is he from?
He's from Aladdin.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Explain.
He's also a hero because
Why are all your villains heroes?
he's the one that ruled the world and could transform into a whole mountainside. Except for mountain, it was more like a sand dune.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he controlled the genie. He like got him to like be beaten or something, and he can turn his thing into snakes, his staff. And also, he's funny. He's also he's the original Mr. Steal Your Girl. The whole time he's trying to take Jasmine away from Aladdin.
I don't have a lot of context on this because again, I don't think I've seen that movie all the way through.
Right.
So I'm just kind of going off what you're saying here, but I mean, you can have him as your number two villain.
Hey, Jafar was funny.
Okay. Who do you want with your number three overall pick?
Number three is the same name that my brother has my sister's name saved as in his phone.
Mama?
Ursula.
Ursula. Okay.
Because he claims that she is a sea witch. Like Ursula.
Okay.
Because Ursula gaslit Ariel.
Is Ursula also a hero to you?
I mean, in a lot of ways. She was a good bargain driver, and she gaslit Ariel into giving up her voice just to chase after some dude she never met.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it, you know?
I mean, many people in this country have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Including myself.
They're like, no, Dad, I love him. You don't even know him. You just...
That's a common theme with a lot of these movies. They barely know the person and they just go for it. Which will be, that's also kind of resonating with my next pick, which you're still explaining.
Well,
do you have anything else with
very
Ursula?
relatable to Pocahontas, and
Okay.
that's all I need to say.
Okay.
Also, she has the eels.
The eels for the heels.
Also, Lindsay Reed kind of reminds me of Ursula.
Okay. I wholeheartedly do not have an opinion on this topic.
I agree.
Okay. Are you ready for my next pick?
Please go.
Okay. I kind of already hinted at what this might be, but you still have no idea what I'm going to pick. Number 3.
Chip.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm picking Hans from Frozen.
Oh, no.
Love is an open door? Yeah, right. You literally met him at a party. It's like, hey, we're going to get married. I'm engaged with you. But
Facts.
only the reason he's such a big villain is he's messing with Anna's heart. You know how bad that is?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just mess with someone. They're so vulnerable.
That's because he ain't loyal.
Yeah, he ain't. You know who else ain't loyal?
Number 3 sponsor of the week.
Yep. Not really.
We had to change it.
But yeah, Hans. It was such a big plot twist in that movie. Like it had everyone just like, what is happening? Because at the very end of the movie, like Anna is like freezing up. She needs a fire, and then Hans goes on his big rant, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna be the rightful king, and everybody's gonna think that whoever just killed you poured out the fire, and then just left her to die." But little did he know, true love always wins. But
true love can
sisters.
melt your person from dying. I guess.
Because she was completely frozen, and then the frozen girl herself, Elsa, gave her a hug, and then she became unfrozen. And they should have killed Hans right at that moment. But because it was a Disney movie, they decided to keep him around. Because if he was the parents of one of them, he would have died. But because he wasn't, they kept him.
It just sounds like Anna goes after toxic men.
Yeah, and I think she probably learned a lot there.
She probably went after another toxic man.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't remember what happens in Frozen 2. But
also, there's a talking snowman walking around.
Yeah. Olaf.
The only good thing that ever came out of Frozen was when that one dude sang in the woods with the reindeer. And it sounded like a Backstreet Boys song.
Are you talking about Out of the Woods? Or are you talking about the Frozen 2 when he sings?
Yes, Frozen 2.
Okay, but we're talking about Frozen 1. There was some really good music in Frozen 1 and Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 had that one good song in
it. More of those songs should have been on the Billboard Top 100 that we discussed last week, but you know, it is what it is.
If you haven't listened to that, then you probably don't chew Big Red. You know what that means.
You don't chew Dane.
I can't repeat what they said in Talladega Nights.
Okay.
But it starts with an F and ends with U. You don't chew Big Red, then F you.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what starts with that and ends with that, but okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was my number 3 overall pick, Hans, because he messes with ladies' hearts, and that's just not right.
And he's named after the terrorist from Die Hard.
Was his name Hans?
Hans Gruber.
Okay.
Both German.
Number 4 pick. You're not going to be ready for this one.
Please don't pick who I'm picking.
Are you ready?
Yep. Tarzan.
Thanos.
Oh, that's
because
cheating. He's not animated.
You don't think he's animated? What actor?
He's purple.
He is definitely animated. Like those whole movies are animated. They show it later. It's just like a whole green screen. Everything.
That'd be so weird to act with.
Yeah, seriously. So Thanos is my number 4 pick. He honestly could be number 1 here, but I knew you would not pick him, so that's why I saved him for the end.
That's true.
And I just snapped him up like that.
You brought him back.
Oh, snap. Dane, don't. Dane.
I'm
Dane.
crying.
No, he's turning to dust.
Oh, no.
Whenever they turn to dust in like Infinity War, it's like, oh no, bye.
I was thinking, yes, kill Spider-Man because Tom Holland's annoying.
Hey,
kind of.
Hey,
he's British.
Okay. Point taken.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thanos is just like the ultimate villain. He was honestly just like the arc of all the first phases of the Marvel movie like universe, and
but you don't ever see him or meet him except for at the end of one of the movies, right?
They talk about him like briefly, and then he comes in like with Infinity War. It's like, oh snap, this guy is crazy.
This guy seems.
And then
crazy.
He left that on one of the biggest cliffhangers ever when he's got all the Infinity Stones snapped, and then half the universe just disappeared. And there's never been a bigger display of power among villains ever in any animated movie.
What I don't like about the Avengers is it seems like they're just making up things as they go. Like, there's no like, oh, you can't do this because of this. There's no rules.
I mean, they have all the comic books, so that's what they kind of base them off of.
Not that I know of.
I mean, I don't read the thousands of comic books, but I'm sure they have points for all of the stuff they do.
Well, personally, I'm illiterate, so I can't read anyways.
I mean, it's a comic book. It's mostly pictures.
Well, I can't look. That's why I did a podcast.
You are colorblind, right?
No.
Oh, okay. That's my other friend.
Did you actually think I was?
I wasn't really for sure.
No, I have a disease.
Oh, yeah, you do. I'm sorry.
That I do.
We can talk about that some other time.
Send me a Venmo.
Yeah, so Thanos, definitely one of the most powerful villains ever. He's just so powerful. It's nuts. But then he does get his head cut off when he has like no power. It happens.
His justification for genocide was not very legitimate.
I don't recommend what he did.
Yeah, eliminating half of the universe so that the resources can be used by the other half and they could thrive.
And then in Endgame, because his first version was killed, they brought in his other version of himself, and then he was trying to kill everyone because he was
crazy.
like, well, it didn't work, just cutting off half the population. I'll kill everyone and rebuild it.
I mean, he tried to.
That is not good.
And he just killed the best character or second best character in Marvel.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
That was sad.
That was sad.
We don't need to talk about this anymore. I might tear up. Dane, who's your next pick?
Just side note, I saw In-Game at the midnight showing of when it came out.
Such a good movie.
It was crazy.
I still
drove home as the sun was coming up.
I'm not even kidding. Each time I see the scene where the holes come up and like the portals and they come through and they have the music, I can't stop myself from crying. Every single time I cry, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. It's so beautiful.
It was crazy. Because even in the theater, I was like, "Let's go!"
Well, and then and that's when like all the Super Marvel fans are like cheering, like, "Oh my gosh!" Because they're like,
it's
on your
over.
left, and like,
almost threw up right there.
I'm literally getting chills right now. Like I'm getting goosebumps. Look at that.
You look like a goosebump.
Yeah.
When it was just Captain America against all those like thousands of
he was
evil
just standing
people.
up, and it was almost like biblical in a way.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, he's a hero. And the reason he's such a big hero is because he had to go against such a big villain.
Exactly.
So, Dane, who are you picking with your final pick?
I'm glad you asked, because my final pick is Simba.
You can't be serious.
Simba, I have it written right here. He's the number 4 pick for me. Simba sucks.
Oh, gosh. You're just horrible at these. Okay.
It's because...
You didn't even have he's a villain.
He's a villain, I'm telling you. Simba is a villain.
How is Simba a villain?
He stole Scar's crown, and he also made it with his cousin. And also, he ran away.
Hey, he could have been from Mississippi.
He could have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I assumed it was in East Africa. But
Gosh.
what am I supposed to know about lions? But
yeah.
also, he comes in and explains nothing of how the regime should be going. It doesn't stick to any points. He just says, Scar, you seem mean, so I'm going to be the guy now.
He killed his dad.
I don't know. It seemed like Scar brought the hyenas and the lions together as a wonderful, harmonious relationship.
He killed his dad.
Yeah, to get the evil dictator out of the rule.
He killed his dad. What would you do?
I don't know. Caesar was killed by his best friends.
That doesn't mean it's right.
I know.
I mean, Thanos killed his daughter. That's why he's such a big villain.
I know. That was crazy, too.
Yeah.
But also...
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah, don't listen to that.
In case you didn't see the movie like 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure Scar had a son.
Was it Simba?
I don't know.
Well, that would be a plot twist.
That's a plot twist.
That would be a plot twist.
And it would even further my point that Simba's the villain. And another thing.
Yeah, another thing? What is another thing?
I have an honorable mention.
So you're just done explaining with Simba's the villain, even though he's the hero?
I explained in explicit detail on how he's the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Who did he bring together? All he brought back was a pig and a meerkat.
I think that's enough.
No. He went on this journey to find himself, and he didn't find anything. All he found was his cousin.
I mean,
He jumped in
to each
waterfalls.
his own.
He totally neglected his responsibility after his father died.
I mean, sometimes people go through bad periods of life, and that was his.
And you know what Scar did? Scar sent him on the journey to become the man that he knew he needed to become to take over Pride Rock.
So are you saying Scar's a hero now?
I said that at the beginning.
Yeah,
Scar
so
is
all
a
your
hero.
villains are heroes.
Simba is a villain.
Okay, so all your villains are heroes, but your hero is a villain.
Depends on which line of the sand you're standing on.
Okay. Who's some honorable mentions for you?
Another villain that I have is Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
He's not really a villain.
You say that, but who's the one that keeps dropping the vial and mixing things up?
Yeah, but he also just messes up because he's just like a puppet for Yzma.
Yeah, why does he go along with it?
Because he's dumb.
Don't talk about Kronk that way.
He is.
Kronk knew what he was doing.
Okay. Do you have any other honorable mentions? Or are you good?
Of course. Sebastian the Crab from The Little Mermaid.
Okay. I'm done. I'm done with this.
Also, John Smith from Pocahontas. Because
the white man came to take over America.
Yeah, because the real story goes he was 35 and she was 13.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Okay. Well, you have all your villains. I think the only other villain that I had written down was Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Also a hero.
He's a villain.
What do you mean?
Continually, every single episode of Phineas and Ferb, he always is trying to do something like take over the tri-state area. And I can't think of a bigger villain besides Thanos than Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Sounds like the corporate entities of America.
Speaking of corporate entities, Plankton, another villain, he always tries to steal the Patty secret Krusty Krab.
Krabby Patty secret formula, you meatball.
I can't talk. I'm bad at talking. We've discussed this on the podcast that I'm not good at talking. So Plankton is another villain.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of other ones as well, but
Mr.
those
Krabs?
No.
He sold SpongeBob for 32 cents.
I mean, at least it wasn't less.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking about the corporate world and how capitalism and everything else, so I thought you kind of related to Mr. Krabs.
Sandy Cheeks, also a villain.
Funny name.
Dang it. Patrick Starr's a menace to society.
Yeah. But he's a solid rock.
He was so funny.
That's such a great show overall. Like,
the lid, Patrick. The lid.
Stop! Freeze! Yes. I think we're good.
Just Krusty Krab.
No, this is Patrick.
Burning.
No one could hear that whistle right there. Okay, that was a little louder. We're good.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is Patrick.
And on that note, our villain draft is done.
Yeah.
Please leave us a 5-star review and let us know how we did. Make sure to leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts with 5 stars as well, because we just like to have that solid fanfare, you know. We like to know how we're doing. Even if we're doing bad, just tell us we're doing good, because it encourages us. And encouragement is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So highly recommend that. Also follow us on Spotify. I notice our Spotify follower count has been going up. So let's keep it going. Keep the momentum, please.
Or else.
Follow us because I can't speak.
Or else.
Or else what?
Or else I'll give you more reasons why Simba's a villain.
Yeah, you don't want that. So just leave us a 5 stars, follow us, do everything else you need to do, and then just tell us things you like about the podcast, even if you hate it.
You know another hero?
Yep.
Darth Vader.
He's not animated.
He tried to show his son his true potential.
Okay, that means he is. If we do a non-animated villain list someday, you can have him for that reason.
That'll be pretty good.
Do you know who else is a villain? Leia, because she made out with her brother.
That is super weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, let's go to our sponsor of the week. Number 1. Jesus Christ.
Dang it. He's number 1 again, back to back.
He will not be beaten.
He's a champion.
He got knocked down at one point, and he came back from the grave, and he is now in heaven because he does stuff like that. He's the best. I was about to say he's a killer, but that's not a good definition.
Yeah.
He's our savior. So
exactly.
Number 1 sponsor. Do you have any verses you want to say?
Of course. 1
Anything.
Corinthians 7:18 through. I mean, it might just be 18.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, "Was anyone at the time of this call already circumcised? Let him not seek to remove the marks of circumcision. Was anyone at this time uncircumcised? Let him not seek circumcision." Basically, this is talking about when
circumcision.
No, it's Paul talking about people in the church saying, "Hey, like I was too bad when God called me out of the world. Like I can't go do that. I need to be cleaned up first and get my act together." It's kind of like when the good guy in a country song or in a movie is like, "Oh, I need to get right with Jesus before I die."
No,
it's like, what does that mean? Like, you don't need to get right. It's just like God calls you out of this world, and then that's just what it is. Like you don't like anybody before then. Like you're never going to be cleaned up enough in order to earn your own salvation. And it's just like Paul talking right there, because he was literally murdering Christians. And so, like if
he would have been animated, he could have been number 1 villain.
He at the time he was not a cool guy.
No.
And then God's like, "Skadoosh, you're actually working for me now."
Yeah.
So. In other news, you want to know who another villain is?
Jake
Trustin Art.
Yeah, he always tries to cancel us, but not really, because he's amazing.
Well, you bring baseball cards over every week, and guess where he's not usually?
He's not here, and it makes me sad. But today he was here.
He's in our live studio audience.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hold on. We have a Venmo from Jake Trustin Art. 25 cents. Never forget, I am the number 1 financial sponsor.
I mean, but did he send us the Mountain Dew and Capri Suns? That was like $10.
That was like $10.
Still don't know who that was.
I don't know either.
I'm curious. I want to know. Please, if you are the person who has given us that, send us more stuff.
So far, they tricked me into drinking it, and then they could be a villain for all we know. It could be the Tom that was peeping on you.
Peeping Tom. You're out there somewhere.
Hey, creepy peeping Tom.
Creepin' peepin'. Number 4 sponsor of the pod.
Creepy peeping.
Creepin' peepin'.
Yeah, I couldn't say that 5 times fast.
Nah, I can't say most of these things 5 times fast.
Oh, look, there's Jake Trustinart.
He's doing a dance for us.
He's wearing a chain.
Keep his clothes on.
With his clothes on. He's probably going to get a Capri Sun and some Gushers from the cabinet. But he probably doesn't have Gushers.
Yeah, that's okay, though. But you know who does have Gushers? Our number 3 sponsor, Online Google Reviews. Does that make sense? No,
Sure.
It doesn't.
Why not?
Last night, I stay up late for a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons is, hey, Google is recommending that I leave a variety of reviews for places I've been. So I just kept going, and I went through like Chick-fil-A, and I left 5 stars. I'm like, it's Chick-fil-A. It's good. And then
was that your review? It's Chick-fil-A.
Basically, like some of them are like that. I think another one was like Taco Bell.
Oh my goodness!
I left us so many like random reviews for all these places just
you gave
because.
Taco Bell 5 stars, right?
I think, I gave all of them 5 stars. So I'm not going to give anything not 5 stars.
Come on. Taco Bell is a authentic Mexican restaurant that gives me the sweet nectar.
Yeah.
And a delicious taco.
I rated our church, Hill City, gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, I hear they don't suck.
No, they're solid.
I was texting our pastor today about fantasy football.
Is he in your league?
Yeah. So I texted him last week and I was like, hey, dude, go accept my trade. He goes, hey, man, I'm in Africa right now. And I said, you're being incredibly selfish, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, that pastor.
Yeah,
Okay, I
go
didn't know which
accept
pastor you're
my
talking
trade.
about. Okay. Yeah, he needs a... Does he listen to the pod?
I really doubt it. And I don't know that he should.
Yeah. I guess... Okay. But if he's in Africa and he listens, we could get an African listener.
It's just, I don't know. It depends on how they
I don't know how that
register
works.
That. Yeah.
He could have someone there listen to it for us.
I don't know. You know who? Never mind. That's going to be a whole tangent.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. But yeah, Online Google Reviews is our 3rd sponsor of the week because they're like, hey, post these reviews and you might get benefits out of it someday. So I was like, okay, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. Also, once again, Luke Funderburk. I got a bone to pick with you, man.
Yeah, Luke. We mentioned it last week. We're mentioning it again this week. You got a bone to pick.
Yeah, you're lucky. Never mind. I was going to say, you're lucky your tires are still inflated.
I mean, by the time this releases...
I have no idea where he's at, but I do know that I own his home.
You do?
Because I defeated his entire family in basketball. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm. I'm really proud of you.
I know. That's how you know if it's somebody's home or not.
Yeah. I think at this point, though, I just want to point out that most listeners are not listening because we're at the 47-minute mark.
What do they know?
So I think we should just end it here and just be good, Be good boys.
I'm going to end you. JK. I would never do that. JK Dobbins. JK Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. No, she was in it. But that's the story for next week.
Another villain, Harry Potter.
Maybe.
Harry's a villain. Harry's a villain. He stole his best friend's sister.
And on that note, this has been episode 25 of the Until Next Week podcast.
Remember to push back against the resistance, people.